I am Dr. Jesse John, Assistant Professor, Department of Anatomy, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. And today we will discuss the anatomy of the lungs. Some parts of the anatomy of the lungs we have studied earlier. Now we'll study rest of the anatomy of the lungs. Namaste, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया. We have studied how the lungs is useful for our body and what is the structure of the lungs, how they will represent in our body, and we will study the anatomical features where we studied apex, base, and costal surface, medial surface, vertebral part, mediastinal part, the anterior border, the posterior border, and inferior border. And we have studied the mediastinal part of the medial surface, where we have studied the impression, what kind of impression on the right and left lung on their mediastinal surface, because mediastinum has the many structures that also present the impression on the mediastinal surface of the right and left lung. So we have studied all these things and we have studied hilum. So while hilum is what is the importance of hilum here and what is the hilum, and then we studied the lobes, how the lobes is made in the lungs and how the fissures present in the left lung or the right lung. Now we'll study the bronchopulmonary segment. The bronchopulmonary segments are the anatomic, functional, and surgical units of the lung. Each lobar bronchus, which passes to the lobe of the lung, gives off branches called segmental bronchi. Each segmental bronchus passes to a structurally and functionally independent unit of a lung lobe called a bronchopulmonary segment, which is surrounded by connective tissue. We can see bronchial tree and we can see trachea, primary bronchus, secondary bronchus, bronchioles, and we have seen the diaphragm. The same structures present in both lungs. For simplicity, only one lung is fully labeled in this diagram. So you have is an way a bronchiole and terminal bronchiole, and the lobar bronchus, that is important, and we have seen the segmental bronchus and seen the alveolar sac, alveolar duct, and alveolus. Now we'll see the structure of the bronchopulmonary segment. Main bronchus, then it will branch into the lumbar bronchus, and again it will branch into the segmental bronchus. Each segmental bronchus divided repeatedly. The smallest bronchi divides and give rise to the bronchioles. Bronchioles then divide and give rise to terminal bronchioles, and which show delicate outpouching from their wall, and the respiratory bronchioles, and by branching into alveolar duct, which leads into the alveolar sacs. Each alveolus is surrounded by a rich network of the blood capillary. So the main bronchus started divided into the lobar bronchus, then segmental bronchus, and segmental bronchus divide repeatedly, and smallest bronchus that divide and give a bronchioles. Then it will give terminal bronchiole, and there will be alveolar duct, and there will be alveolar sacs, and this sacs surrounded by rich network of the blood capillaries where the oxygen and gaseous transfusion there. The main characteristic of bronchopulmonary segment, it is a subdivision of a lung lobe, and it is pyramid shaped with its apex toward the lung root, and it is surrounded by connective tissue. It has a segmental bronchus, a segmental artery, lymph vessels, and autonomic nerves. The segmental vein lies in the connective tissue between adjacent bronchopulmonary segments because it is a structural unit. A diseased, diseased segment can be removed surgically. So we can, if there is any carcinoma, any disease in lung, and because the presence of this bronchopulmonary segment, we can remove that diseased segment very successfully. Now we will see the main bronchopulmonary segment that are present in right and left lung, and we can see again in superior lobe of the right lung there is the apical posterior anterior pulmonary segments, and middle lobe there is lateral and medial, and inferior lobe there is superior medial basal, anterior basal, lateral basal, and posterior basal bronchopulmonary segments. Now, left lung in superior lobe there is apical, posterior, anterior, superior, lingular, inferior lingular bronchopulmonary segment. Inferior lobe there is superior bronchopulmonary segment, medial basal, anterior basal, lateral basal, and posterior basal bronchopulmonary segments. Now we can see more clearly all the bronchopulmonary segment in relation to bronchial tree. Here more clearly picturized how the segment will shown in the lung. More clearly here the anterior and posterior aspect of the both lung. Now we will see the blood supply of the lungs. The bronchi, the connective tissue of the lung, and the visceral pleura receive their blood supply from bronchial arteries, which are branches of the descending aorta. Bronchial vein drain into the azygous and hemizygous vein. Alveoli receive deoxygenated blood from the terminal branches of the pulmonary arteries. The oxygenated blood leaving the alveolar capillaries drain into the tributaries of the pulmonary vein to empty into the left atrium of the heart. Now we will see the lymph drainage of the lungs. The lymph vessels originate in the superficial and the deep plexus. The superficial plexus lies beneath the visceral pleura and drains over the surface of the lung towards the hilum, where the lymph vessels enter the bronchopulmonary nodes. The plexus travel along the bronchi and pulmonary vessels toward the hilum of the lung, passing through pulmonary nodes located within the lung substance. The lymph then enters the bronchopulmonary nodes in the hilum of the lung. All the lymph from the lung leaves the hilum and drains into the tracheobronchial nodes and then into the bronchomediastinal lymph trunks. You have seen superficial pulmonary plexus and deep pulmonary plexus. They will drain all the lymphatics of the lung. And if it goes to bronchopulmonary lymph nodes, and again it goes to the tracheobronchial lymph nodes, now they drain into the bronchomediastinal lymph trunks. Now supply of the lungs. At the root of each lung is a pulmonary plexus composed of afferent and efferent autonomic nerve fibers. The plexus is formed from branches of the sympathetic trunk and receives parasympathetic fibers from the vagus nerve. The sympathetic efferent fibers produce bronchodilation and vasoconstriction. The parasympathetic efferent fibers produce bronchoconstriction, vasodilation, and increased glandular secretion. Afferent impulses derived from the bronchial mucous membrane and from stretch receptor in the alveolar walls pass to the central nervous system in both sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. Now we will see the surface anatomy of the lung. The apex bulges upward into the neck. A curved line may be drawn convex upward from the sternoclavicular joint to a point 1 inch above the junction of the medial and intermediate thirds of the clavicle. Anterior border of the right lung runs down behind the sternoclavicular joint, almost reaching the midline behind the sternal angle. It then continues downward until it reaches the Giffey-sternal joint. The anterior border of the left lung has a similar course, but at the level of the fourth costal cartilage, it deviates laterally and extends to the lateral margin of the sternum to form the cardiac notch. It then turns sharply downward to the Giffey-sternal joint. The lower border of the pleura on both sides follows a curved line which crosses the sixth rib in the mid-clavicular line and the eighth rib in the mid-axillary line and reaches the tenth rib adjacent to the vertebral column, that is, at the lateral border of the erector spinae muscles. Now there are two questions. These are the what are the anatomical features of the lung, and second is what are bronchopulmonary segments. Thank you so much.